Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Pendragon Rising with me, Alfapiomega. We are currently at Chapter 5, The Fires of GWYNEDD, and let's check how we're standing so far. Well, we're a 77% leader, a 72% diplomat, 12% warrior. We are very cunning, a bit compassionate, and we are starting to stand with the old faith. Acclaim is light and allies still few. So, Chapter 5, The Fires of GWYNEDD. There, I swear it, sun on a spear tip, or I've never seen one. Alan's shout rings out from the wooden tower by the gate, where he stationed himself so he can feel that he's of use. So then, says GWYNEDD, hefting his spear and his targe, this may be the end of us, Art. Don't be such a misery guts, says Kai. It could be worse. We could be out of wine. He takes a long draught from the skin in his hands and wipes his lips. Anyone else? You do know that's the last of it, asks Morgan. Kai eyes her. You are joking? Morgan shrugs. She hooks a limb of her bow around her leg and strings it in one easy movement. Then she settles it across her shoulders and starts up the ladder to the watchtower. Kai turns to you and GWYNEDD. She's joking? Well now, wouldn't you look at that? GWYNEDD is looking off towards the long hall. Uther stands there, spear in hand, Blaze by his side. As you watch, he walks slowly towards the gate, head erect. You know, all know, watching him, that it must cost him dearly to manage even this much. He stops just inside the gate, facing it, and plants the butt of his spear in the dirt, gripping it tightly. You hear the susurration of voices around you, you see approval on the faces of the men, and you know that Uther being here will make a difference. Nice. You're aware of their eyes on you, the defenders of Dinas Emrys, the farmers and herders gathered from the nearby valleys, wear helms and hauberks that don't fit, or are spotted with rust, and spears sit uneasily in their hands. Warriors stand ready, but even though you've kept as many as you can here in the fort, it still looks like too few. And these are the men who didn't follow Bedwyr, so the more young and untried, or the more infirm. More infirm? What the fuck? And then there's the king, your father, Uther, seeming held up by his spear and iron will, ice cold. They're all watching you now. Kai nudges you. Time to say something, brother. So, 3 choices. No, this is no time for flowery speeches. Everyone here knows the situation. We fight, or we die. I'll inspire them, I'll make them understand that there's hope. Or, I'll ridicule the Saxons, belittle them, and make our people resentful of their presence. Let's inspire them. Speeches have way of an impact on people. So I'll inspire them. Didn't do one hell of a difference. I know you're thinking that we're on our own, that we've got a little chance, that our allies have abandoned us. Indeed, that this feels like the end of the Britain we know, with the Saxons this deep into the hills. That we have no hope of winning, but we don't need to win. All we need to do is hold. The Saxons came for Inismon, and they found nothing on the isle, so they've come here to vent their rage. But this is winter, in the hills of Britain. How much food do you think they've brought? Not enough. How many fur blankets? How long will those stay dry in the rain? These Saxons aren't a besieged force. They're not geared for it. So as long as they stay outside these wooden walls, they'll be wet, miserable, cold, and soon hungry. That's a good speech. And bored, and want to go home. And do you think Bedwyr will be idle when he realizes he's been drawn out in a trick? No. He and his men will be on their way back now, as I speak. So all we need to do is to hold. Hold the king's fort, which has never fallen. A ring of high wood, old hard trees, weathered by wind and baked by sun. Those won't burn, and I'll wager it'll take more than a Saxon axe to chop a hole in it. No, our biggest danger here is boredom and being unable to sleep due to the noise outside. You see the nodding of heads among the warriors and hear laughter and a small cheer in the ranks. The mood is less oppressive and the men stand more at ease. Gawain clears his throat. War Reader. The word is loud enough for all to hear. The Saxons near. What are your orders? Where should we station the men? Well, so far we are doing great. This was a good speech, a very inspiring and, with a lot of sense in it. Every man to the walls. Let's make sure the Saxons see as much of our strength as possible. It should give them a pause. Keep half the men back, well out of sight. Then they'll be arrested and can act to surprise Cynric or to reinforce breaches in our defenses where needed. The rest should be at the walls. Before the Saxons get here, send a force of men out into the dark to find a place to hide. When the attack has begun, they can strike from the rear. The rest should be at the walls. Damn, each of this has its meaning. So let's cross off this one first. We want people to be arrested. Having people on the walls all the time is a stupid idea. No, people need rest. So keep half men back, or this. No, keep half the man back. Gawain nods and issues orders swiftly. Men take up their place at the gate and at any other weak points in the high wooden palisade. Others retreat to a holding position amongst the storehouses behind the long hall, ready for your call. Cunning increased a bit more, and we are more of a leader now, a bit less of a warrior. Our faith, well, let's see. Arthur, you turn. It's Morgan. This won't be easy, she says. She comes up to stand close by you, looking out over the fortress. You have done well with what you have. This'll be a close run thing, I think. Remember that I'm here. Anything you need of me, you only have to ask. Now is hardly the time for that sort of thing. Don't worry, with God's help we'll get through this. Or don't worry, with the God's help we'll get through this. So this is the difference between Old Faith and New Faith. Making me leader may have been a mistake, but if nothing else, I mean to take a few Saxon heads. With God's help, we'll get through this. Old Faith. She smiles ruefully. They don't come at our beck and call, Art, but perhaps we can make them sit up and take notice. They are said to favor the suicidally brave. A shout goes up from the gate, and she stiffens. We have work to do. Fight well. Up Uther. So this is it. And so they come. It starts with 36 men striding up to the gates as if they own the ground they walk on, axes and sword in hand, pale hair loose, tattoos and paint on skin that gleams in a mix of the dying sunlight and the torches that they bear. There's no pause outside, no moment for parley. A shout in the barbarian tongue, and axes rise and fall, cutting into the ropes and pegs that hold the logs of the gate together. And then the torches are thrown up and over the palisade, no doubt aimed to hit the thatch of buildings. They fall short. The folk of GWYNEDD are not foolish enough to build against the palisade, but the gathering fires throw a haze of smoke across everything. Are we not shooting at them? Uther stands by the long hall. You can feel his gaze on your shoulders. He's too ill to be in the front lines, but just having him there will help the men. Gawain stands just inside the entryway, warriors of GWYNEDD around him. Many of them are braced against the tree trunks that make up the gate, helping support it against the barbarian axe blows. Is no one shooting at them, really? And then there are shouts from around the palisade as short spears start to rain down from the sky. Down! Cover yourselves, shouts Gawain, but for some it's too late. You see a spray of blood as a shaft slices through the neck of one of the men on your right. He collapses, a ragdoll. There's a roar from the gate as a Saxon warrior throws himself bodily over the top of it, launched by his companions. Gawain launches himself at the interloper, driving a spear up and into his armpit. The man screams and collapses under a wave of Britons. You draw your sword and run to the palisade, to take the place of a fallen warrior just as Saxons start to scramble atop the tree trunks that make up the defenses. Okay, so I have been expecting this, to be a bit different, so we really had just a low palisade. I thought that we would have some walkways and stuff like that, maybe towers on the sides, but yeah, this is deep in the Dark Ages, I guess. You only have half of your force at the walls, so it's tricky work. As soon as you've cut at one Saxon as he tries to pull himself over, you have to leap to tackle another. Your sword is soon bloody from use. Some of the attackers make it to the ground, and there's fighting inside the walls. Then there's a roar from the gate as it fails under the axes, and there's a cry of victory from Cynric's forces as they burst through. Gawain and the men with him react swiftly. They throw themselves into the breach, hacking, cutting, and for a moment, in the confusion, it's hard to see what happens. Then there's a yell of GWYNEDD, and you realize a small knot of your men hold the gate, Gawain at their fore, as Emrys sets about shoring up the damage. What about the rest of the men? This would be a good time to call them. It's only a moment of peace, a moment for you to catch your breath, and for your men to prepare for the next assault. You see Gawain mopping blood from his brow. Over stands grey-faced, leaning on his spear. He looks like he'll not stand for long. Suddenly there's a crash from your right. From beyond the animal pens, men shout, and you see Saxons' blades flash as they swarm over the palisade. Another thud, then another, and more Saxons appear. Ladders, heavy ladders, perhaps felled trees. From the gate, another shout goes up, this from the Saxons. Striding into the fort, flanked by two huge axemen, is a lean warrior, head shaven save for a single braid, clad only in breeches, body swirled with paint as if he's a Bwaka or a Pict. He wears a heavy gold arm ring and a thick torque of twisted gold and holds an ornate spear. Cynric. He raises the spear and gives a great shout. The Saxons cheer in approbation. This is starting to look really grim. It's bloody work, this, and confusing among smoke and flame. Night has fallen while you fought, but you begin to realize that there are more Britons standing than Saxons. You're winning, cutting off groups of your attackers and cutting them down or driving them back to the gate. Well, awesome, so this last paragraph made me happy. I'll order an all-out attack. I'll order the men to retreat to abandon Dinas Emrys. Fuck, I'll challenge Cynric to a one-on-one fight, so not this one. Not this one at all. I'll order the men to retreat to abandon Dinas Emrys. This is not a good idea. I'll order an all-out attack. Why is there nothing like, I'll call in the reserves and we'll try to push them away from the gate? Damn. Well, I guess this one is the best one. We won't abandon this fort. We need to hold it. And challenging Cynric to one-on-one fight is stupid, so I'll order an all-out attack. You exchange glances with Kai. He nods. GWYNEDD, you scream, for GWYNEDD and the gods! And you charge straight at Cynric and his men. You feel the men come with you, Britons either side of you, hammering their way forward with you at their heart. GWYNEDD! Saxons fall in the crush. You feel a cut slice across your arm, another across your shin, and then all is blood and chaos as you lose yourself in the sharpness of combat. Damn. There's a roar from your men. You turn to see that Cynric, standing in front of Gawain, has thrown down his spear and is holding out empty hands. You realize that only a handful of Saxons are left fighting. Cynric snaps commands, and in disgust, others cast down their weapons. Despite everything, you have won the day, and as you look out across your fighting force, you realize that you have won it overwhelmingly. Despite bruises and wounds, most of your men still stand. Kai claps you on the shoulder. That's it. You buying, brother? Then a shout goes up, and you both lift your blades. But no, it's from the gate. It's Bedwyr and the warband racing in with spears at the ready, only to see that the fight is already won. If he didn't hate you before, murmurs Kai, he will now. Bedwyr strides up to Uther. My lord, he says, are you well? Uther, yellow-skinned and tired, nods. I am. He holds himself straighter and raises his voice. The men have given as good an account of themselves as I could have wished. GWYNEDD bows his hand to the king. Lord, all that has been won here today is by Arthur's command. He has proved his worth. I know it, says Uther, looking hard at you. You have the king's gratitude, Arthur, for doing much with little. He reaches up and unclasps a heavy gold arm ring and holds it out to you. Shocked, you take it, feeling Bedwyr's eyes on you. Achievement unlocked, a golden arm ring. Acclaim beloved. Nice, leader 83%. We're doing fine, allies few though. The prisoners are rounded up, Cynric amongst them, and they're forced at spear point to kneel in front of the king. What is to be their fate? Asks GWYNEDD. Bedwyr speaks first. Hostages, he says to Uther. They should live so that we have a chokehold on Cynric's father. Uther shakes his head. They must die, he says. The Saxons must learn what an attack on GWYNEDD earns them. We will send back their heads. You can't, it's Kai. He realizes who he's talking to. My apologies, Lord, but if we kill them here, now, without swords in their hand, then we are no better than Saxons. Uther glares at him, then frowns and looks over at you. Well, war leader, what is your opinion? You hesitate, an uncasual expression on Cynric's face, the smile of a man who doesn't care. Kill him, or let them return home to carry word of our victory to their people, or keep Cynric as hostage, release the others, or keep Cynric as a hostage, kill the others. This is another tough one. If we release them, they will come again. If we kill them, his father will be furious and will retaliate with all his force. If we keep him as a hostage, he might retaliate, in hopes that he frees him. I don't know. Bedwyr says hostages. And I think that in this case he knows what he is speaking about. Uther suggests that they die, and his experience as well. And Kai realizes that there's no way to keep them all as hostages. I guess this one is the best. Keep Cynric as hostage, release the others. Keep Cynric as hostage, kill the others. I'm not entirely sure. This is killing them. If we kill them, he doesn't know that we have him. If he can keep him and release the others, they will carry that message back. Let's keep Cynric as hostage and release the others. Uther's brows raise in surprise. Let them free to carry back word of their leader's plight? Aye. I can see the smile fall from Cynric's face as they tell their tale. See it done, GWYNEDD. GWYNEDD gestures warriors forward. Hold him, he orders, gesturing at Cynric. The men do so. The other Saxons are allowed to depart, weaponless. Cynric watches them go, face impassive. Then he looks over at you and smiles. You are 5 feet away from him when you see the shift in his eyes. They go jet black in an eye blink, as if there was never any white, and he springs, his empty hand punching out. There's a crack. The man in front of him stumbles and falls, ribcage caved in like it's been hit with a rock. As he coughs and bubbles blood, Cynric slashes his hand across another man's throat. You see 3 parallel wounds open up and fill with blood. "Stop him!" shouts GWYNEDD. It's too late. The Saxon leader leaps for the wooden palisade. You see him scramble up, cat-like, up its sheer face, muscles writhing. You see him vanish over the top into the darkness. And then he's gone, leaving only claw scars in the bare wood he's just climbed. Well, I have a feeling that we should have killed him. I have a feeling we should have killed him. But that's what this is, you know, you never know. And this is really weird. Shift in his eyes, they go jet black. Is he some kind of a priest or a magician? I don't know, but we are beloved now. For some reason this made us less cunning. It's kind of weird, but we are now 83% leader, 72% diplomat, 11% warrior. We're a bit more ruthless than compassionate, a lot more cunning than is our bravado, and we are leaning more and more to the old faith. We are now beloved, but we still have few allies. So this is the end of chapter 4 of Pendragon Rising. See you next time with some more of this and me, Alfapiomega.